Welcome to another deep dive. Today we're taking a look at all the amazing things Samsung had to show off at CES 2025. We've been poring over tons of material, YouTube videos and press releases, even some on-the-ground reports, all to give you the inside scoop on how Samsung wants to use AI to change the world. I mean, we're talking AI on ships, art that matches your style, even this little AI robot buddy named Bali. So stick with us as we explore how all of this impacts you. You'll understand it all, and even be able to use some of it by the time we're done. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Deep Dive for more great content.
One thing that's really cool is that Samsung's going way beyond what we've seen before with simple automation. They're showing us how AI can actually learn what you need and what you like and apply it across all your devices.
They've been talking about this whole home AI thing for a while. It seems
Right.
like they're finally making it real.
Exactly. And they're dealing with some of the big worries that come with AI, like how they're keeping your data safe and private. They've got this new thing called the Knox Matrix dashboard. It uses blockchain technology to make sure all your devices are talking to each other securely.
Blockchain, like the stuff behind Bitcoin. How does that keep my data safe?
Imagine each of your devices like a guard constantly checking and making sure everything's legit. This means hackers would have to get through all those guards at once to get your info. It's like having a whole team of digital bodyguards for your personal information.
So it's not just about keeping bad guys out. It's also about making sure my devices can talk to each other safely. What kind of cool things can they do with this network?
Let's say you like your phone to have a high contrast setting because of your eyes. Well, that same setting could be used on your TV, your fridge, even your washing machine automatically.
So it learns what I like on one device
Yeah.
and then just makes all my Samsung stuff work the same way. That's pretty slick. But wouldn't that mean they're collecting tons of information about me? How much data is all this AI stuff actually gathering?
It's good to be careful. And Samsung's saying they're all about you being in control. You get to choose what they can use and how they use it.
Okay, that makes sense. We talk about how AI is going to change our homes, but Samsung's taking it even further, right?
Yeah.
What about businesses and
Chips.
ships? They're putting AI on ships now. What does that even look like? Is the captain asking Bixby to adjust the sails?
Not exactly, but it's still pretty cool. Picture this. A pre-sailing mode. Everything on the ship gets ready to go, engines, temperature, lights, all before the captain even steps on board. It's all done remotely through smart things.
That sounds efficient, but what about jobs? Are people going to be out of work if ships are basically driving themselves?
It's a good question, and it's something we should be thinking about as AI takes on more tasks. Samsung says their AI systems are designed to work with people, not replace them. But we definitely need to keep talking about this as AI gets more and more advanced.
Speaking of taking AI to new places, what about Samsung's work with Hyundai? Are they putting AI in cars too?
Oh, yeah, and not just in a basic way like adding a voice assistant. They're connecting smart things with electric vehicles, which opens up all sorts of possibilities.
Like what?
Imagine your car charges itself only when electricity is cheapest. You save money and help out the power grid at the same time.
So my car could actually become a backup generator for my house. That's pretty useful.
Exactly. Think about a power outage. Your EV, because of smart things, could keep your essential appliances running.
That's wild. They're really pushing the limits of AI both at home and out in the world. But what about the screens we use every day? Are they getting an AI upgrade too?
For sure. They're introducing Vision AI, a whole bunch of technologies that make watching TV way more interactive and personalized.
Right.
It's not just passive watching anymore.
That sounds pretty interesting. What kind of features are we talking about here?
Say you're watching a movie and there's an actor you recognize but can't place. Click to search, uses Vision AI to analyze what's on your screen and find you all the info you need right then and there.
So I could get an actor's filmography without having to pause the movie.
Yep, that's it. They're also taking on language barriers with Live Translate. It gives you real-time subtitles in up to 7 languages. You can watch movies from anywhere in the world without struggling to understand the subtitles.
So many new possibilities for watching movies. What else can this Vision AI do?
One that caught my attention is generative wallpaper. AI creates custom artwork that matches your taste or even goes with specific events.
So my TV could have artwork that changes with my mood or the holidays. It sounds like a pretty big change from just passively watching to actually interacting with your TV. But isn't this level of personalization going to require them to collect a ton of data about me? What about my privacy?
You're right to ask that, and it seems like Samsung's trying to deal with that through their Knox Matrix security system and making sure you have control over what they can use.
Glad to hear it. But before we get too deep into privacy, let's go back to something we talked about before. this Bali AI companion.
Bally's really interesting because it shows Samsung's vision for a more personalized and interactive AI experience. It's not just a voice assistant, it's a companion that learns your habits and what you like over time.
Like a pet that can control your smart home.
In a way, yeah. Bally can follow you around, do what you tell it to do, and even talk to your other smart devices. Think about it helping you find your keys, reminding you about appointments, or even playing fetch with your dog.
It does sound pretty futuristic. Makes you think of all those sci-fi movies where their robots become self-aware and turn on us. Is Bally going to start a robot uprising in my living room?
I think we're a long way from that. Bally's meant to be helpful, not take over the world.
Hopefully you're right. It's amazing to see how Samsung imagines AI being a part of our lives, not just a tool. But before we get too carried away with all this future stuff, let's think about what it means for us right now. How does all this AI affect accessibility and sustainability?
That's a great question, and it seems like Samsung's really thinking about those things. They're talking about how AI can be a force for good, especially in those areas.
Okay, listeners, that's it for part one of our deep dive into Samsung's AI innovations. We've seen some incredible stuff, from blockchain security and AI companions to smart homes that can extend all the way to chips. But there's more to come. In part two, we'll explore the human side of Samsung's vision, looking at their plans for accessibility and sustainability. Hit that like button and subscribe to Deep Dive so you don't miss the rest of this journey into the future of AI. We'll be back soon. Welcome back. It's really great to see Samsung making accessibility and sustainability a big part of their AI story.
It's definitely good to see them thinking about how this technology affects everyone. Let's dig into how they're actually doing that.
Let's start with accessibility. They're using AI to make all their devices work better for people with different needs. Like if you prefer high contrast displays on your phone, that preference would automatically carry over to your TV, your fridge, even your washing machine.
So someone with visual impairments could have a consistent experience across all their Samsung devices. That's really thoughtful. Exactly, and it's not just visual stuff either. The AI can adjust things like voice guidance too, making it easier for people with mobility issues to use their smart home.
It sounds like they're really aiming for an inclusive experience. What about their sustainability efforts? How are they actually making a difference there?
One big thing is their Solve for Tomorrow competition. It encourages students to use STEM skills to come up with solutions for real-world problems.
So they're empowering the next generation to use technology for good. That's awesome.
They're also working with organizations like the UNDP to use technology for social impact. For example, their Samsung Global Goals app has raised millions of dollars for different
It
causes.
seems like they're really putting their money where their mouth is when it comes to sustainability. Let's switch gears for a minute and go back to something that really caught my attention. Bally, the AI companion. We talked about it a bit earlier, but I'd love to hear more.
Bally is a great example of Samsung's vision for a more personalized and interactive AI experience. It's not just a disembodied voice, it's a companion that learns what you like and how you do things.
We talked about it being like a pet that can control your smart home.
Hmm.
Can you give us some real-world examples of how Bally might work?
Imagine waking up and Bally, knowing your schedule, opens the blinds, sets the temperature, and starts your coffee. Throughout the day, it could remind you about appointments, help you find your keys, even play fetch with your dog.
That's a pretty seamless vision of the future. It sounds like Bally is blurring the lines between a helpful assistant and an actual companion. What does that mean for our privacy and data security?
That's a crucial point. Companies like Samsung have to be upfront about what Bally does with your data. They're saying users will be in control and can choose what to share. But it's something we need to keep an eye on as this technology develops.
Transparency and control are definitely key as AI gets more and more involved in our lives. But here's something I've been thinking about. As we go deeper into this world of AI companions and hyper-personalized experiences, how do we make sure technology doesn't take over? How do we keep real human connections in a world that's increasingly driven by AI?
That's a big question. We have to remember that technology is supposed to make our lives better, not run them. We need to be careful about setting boundaries and making sure we still have real-world interactions.
It's a tricky balance, isn't it? Using AI to our advantage while still keeping those human connections strong. But let's bring it back to Samsung for a minute. We've talked about their commitment to accessibility and sustainability, their move into AI companions, and their vision for a hyper-personalized world. What are your overall thoughts on what they're showing off at CES?
What strikes me is how they're trying to build this whole ecosystem where AI fits seamlessly into our lives, our homes, our cars, how we entertain ourselves, even our relationships.
It's a bold vision, for sure. And it raises a lot of questions. Are we ready for a world where AI is this deeply embedded in our lives? What are the good things and the bad things that could come from that? And maybe most importantly, how do we make sure this future reflects what we want and what we believe in?
Those are some tough questions, but that's what makes all of this so interesting. We're standing on the edge of a massive technological shift, and it's up to us to figure out how to navigate it thoughtfully and make good choices.
Very well said. We've covered a lot in this deep dive, from AI-powered ships and personalized entertainment to sustainability efforts and AI companions, and there's still more to explore. Make sure to stay tuned for part 3, where we'll wrap up our look at Samsung and explore what their AI-powered vision could mean for the future. Welcome back to the deep dive. We've been exploring Samsung's vision for an AI-powered future, and it's been pretty amazing to see how far they're pushing the boundaries. But before we wrap things up, I want to take a step back and think about the bigger picture here. What does this AI revolution actually mean, and how will it change our lives in the years to come?
It's a great question, and Samsung's not just showing off cool gadgets and futuristic features. They're really trying to show how this technology is going to change the way we live and work and how we connect with the world around us.
We've seen how AI is getting more personal and how it's being woven into everything, our homes, our cars, entertainment, even our relationships. But as we start to rely on these systems more and more, are there any downsides we should be worried about?
One concern is that AI could actually make existing inequalities worse. If not everyone has equal access to these technologies, it could create a bigger gap between the people who benefit from AI and those who are left behind.
That's a really important point. We need to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits everyone, not just a select few. What other potential problems do you see?
Another big one is the impact on our privacy and data security. AI systems are gathering more and more information about us, our habits, our preferences, even our emotions. We have to be very careful about protecting our data.
Samsung keeps talking about how their Knox matrix system gives users control and transparency, but it feels like this is something we need to keep talking about as AI gets smarter and smarter. And what about jobs? We talked about this before with ships and automation, but it seems like a lot of industries could be affected.
It's hard to say for sure what will happen. Some experts say AI will create new jobs, while others think it will lead to widespread unemployment. It's very possible that some jobs will disappear completely while others will pop up, requiring totally new skills and training.
So being able to adapt and learn new things will be more important than ever in the future. What would you say to someone who's feeling anxious or unsure about all this AI stuff?
Be curious. Instead of being scared of what you don't know, go out and explore it. Learn about AI, play around with it. Think about how you can use it to solve problems or make your life better. Technology is a tool, and how we use it is up to us.
I love that perspective. We've covered so much in this deep dive, looking at both the exciting possibilities and the potential challenges of Samsung's AI-powered future. Is there one big takeaway that stands out to you?
I think the biggest takeaway is that technology isn't neutral. It reflects the values and the goals of the people who create and use it. We all need to be part of the conversation about how we want AI to shape our future and to fight for responsible and ethical development.
Couldn't have said it better myself. We've explored Samsung's vision for AI, but this is just the start of a much bigger conversation about the future of technology and how it will affect humanity. As we wrap up this deep dive, we encourage you to keep exploring, keep asking questions, and be a part of shaping the AI-powered world that's quickly taking shape around us. And don't forget to like and subscribe to Deep Dive for more insightful explorations of the tech world. Thanks for listening.